is going on, YouTube people? Boy, oh boy, do we have a doozy today. From the desk of the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Those are things that you don't want to see at the top of a memo. They are opening an indictment with the FBI against two individuals that were fraudulently selling fake PSA slabs with fake labels with real cards inside. Here are the two individuals involved. One, Anthony Curcio, and one, Joe Borachuk. Probably butchering that last name, but that's okay. Facing up to 20 years in jail for this nonsense. They kind of run down U.S. District Attorney or U.S. Attorney General, kind of runs down some things here. These are not small cards, folks. We're talking about 86 Fleer Jordans. We're talking about first edition Charizards. We're talking about Steph Curry rookies. These are not Luka base prisms that were floating around out there. The losses are estimated to be upwards of $2 million. And you can see today the statement at the end of this quote. Our message today is clear. No matter what product you're selling, if you are trying to deceive the public to make money, you will be brought to justice. Scary stuff out there. If you are doing nonsense, look out. The FBI is watching you, or at least in this case, it gets up to $2 million. They sure as hell are watching you. Essentially, what was happening here is they were purchasing legitimate copies of the cards. The cards inside the holders are legitimate, from best as I could tell here, reading through some of this stuff. The label and the slab are fake. So they would buy a lower graded, air quote, clean, well-presenting copy of a first edition Charizard in maybe a 7 or an 8, put it in a 10 slab and profit. Seems easy enough, right? It's like a money printing machine if you could pull that off. And it sounds like they did for quite a while until they got caught. So one of the things that you'll notice here are these are mostly, and from what I could tell, there's some additional images in the actual court in the indictment, are older generation PSA slabs. So not the newer Lighthouse labels. These are older gen slabs, which a lot of people are always kind of side-eyeing anyways. The newer slabs, and then the even newer slabs, do have a lot more anti-fraud devices inside them, for lack of a better term. They are harder to counterfeit and replicate because of the security features that they have built into the newer slabs, and labels are harder for people like this to replicate. The older generation ones didn't have as much of that stuff in it. Technology wasn't quite as there. Some of these slabs are pretty old. So that was what they were basically doing. Getting lower graded versions of the card, putting it in a fake case, making fake labels, using real cert numbers. So if someone looked the card up, it would tie back to a legitimate cert number for the card. How they got caught, I am not 100% sure, but somebody figured out something. Complaints began to roll in. People realized what was going on. There's statements in here about when people confronted them about, hey, something's weird with this. They would be like, oh, I had no idea. I got it off Joe down the street there. Or I picked it up in a deal at Dallas, or, this, that, or the other thing. And would basically give the people their money back to stay under the radar, and then turn around and try to sell it somewhere else. The rumor is these people have been flying around to pretty much all of the large card shows out there and trying to move some of the stuff in person, and then also filtering things through various auction houses and consigners as well. So we're talking massive scale stuff here. 1 count conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 1 count of wire fraud, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years. And do remember, people are innocent until proven guilty. So we will see what happens here. Some questions I have involving like floating around this are how many of these fake slabs are out there? Because I am sure there are a decent amount of these floating around in the wild. So if you were looking at higher end cards, bigger cards, you might want to take a close look at your slab and just really eye that thing up and check it against what, a PSA slab of whatever generation it is that you have, that everything that's there is supposed to be there, and that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed on that bad boy, just in case. Like I said, they were mostly higher end cards. They give the list here: 86 Fleer Jordans, Larry Bird, Irving rookies, Magic Johnson rookies, valuable Pokemon, Tom Brady, Nolan Ryan, and I'm sure there is a host of others. It would be nice at some point in time, depending on which way this goes, if there was some sort of list that could be published for the affected cert numbers or the affected cards themselves. If they have, if they look through all their computers and whatnot and see what labels they were printing off, if something like that could be provided or would come out, if this went to trial. I don't know how all that stuff works. Paul Lesko hasn't done update quite yet on this one. So possibly more updates and more details to come. But we haven't had a good FBI rating the hobby for fraud in a hot minute. I don't remember what the last one was off the top of my head. But this seems to be a pretty big one. $2 million in cards is a lot of cards. Even big cards, that's still a lot of cards. That's a big chunk of little pieces of cardboard in fake pieces of plastic with fake labels attached to them with fake number 10s in the corner. So, like I said, more updates on this probably to come. We have not even gotten Paul Lesko's reaction to it yet. I am sure that will be coming. If anything else wild and crazy happens with this, I don't know that anything will happen fast enough for a second video or anything crazy like that, but we will be sure to update it in the weekly sports card market update on Sunday. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.